focus. Click the links for Odysee, BitChute, Coffee, and the other Discord and Gab. Definitely stay in touch. Okay, so B. Tim Lim, not Kelly Sue Deconnick. The Karen problem in the comic industry. I think we have found the chief Karen. This Kvetchinienta takes the golden cock ring. She has reached the peak of lack of self-awareness. She and her industry is an example of what not to do. Be Tim Lim, Douglas Ernst, and I'm sure there's a few others out there who are like those, just mature adults who are just delivering a product without a lot of this nonsense on the side. Be nice, normal guys who don't insult the customers and deliver the product as promised. It's fine to write politics if you want. I'm not one of those, like, there's this weird straw man going around about CG, like, oh, you guys don't want politics in comics. CG's a very amorphous cloud. Some don't want politics in comics. I never believed that. I said, hey, put whatever you want in comics. If it sells, sell it. But I thought, no, some people say that and some people don't. If you want to put left-wing politics in comics, go for it. Does it sell? Well, it doesn't. It hasn't been selling for the mainstream. If you want to put right-wing politics in comics, go for it. It's probably, to be fair, like putting far-right or far-left views in comics, that's, in my opinion, it's not what comics are for. It's like putting, there's a lot of things I don't think fit in comics, like adult comics. I don't get those. I'm not opposed to it from a prurient perspective. I just don't get them in comics. Comics are like 60s and 70s vibe of very light social commentary. And the thing is, even in the 60s and 70s and 80s, they were doing their best to present both sides. There were always a left-wing bias, but it wasn't as insane as it is now. But the real test in the crucible is, does it sell? Are people paying you money for it? If they are, then keep doing what you're doing. And if they're not, then you want to change your business model. And so far, what they're doing clearly isn't working. So, far-right comics, I've heard that said about Vox Day, and then I read his Arcavum Asylum. He's got a website, he's got comics. Dude's an excellent writer, and I didn't see any far-right politics in it. What I'm seeing in the mainstream is far-left. I go, well, that's just your perspective. Yeah, but it's not selling. With this, like Comicsgate, whether there's some right-wing stuff in it, maybe not, maybe not really. Like having Bill Clinton in a comic that's set in the 90s isn't like some right-wing perspective. It's just the president at the time who was getting BJs in the office. It's like, that actually happened. It's okay to put that in a comic. It doesn't make it a right-wing comic. Where's I going with this? I'm saying put whatever sells. But again, I think comics are like mostly middle of the road. Like I used Jawbreakers and what's the other one he wrote? The black and one with Ibe Canales. That other one he wrote, that's really good, and I can't remember the name of it. Damn it. Ironsides as examples of, like, those aren't really heavy on politics, if at all. They're just escapist entertainment with some fun art. It's just telling a story and it's taking you for a ride. That's what comics were for a very long time, just taking you for a ride. So this far left politics in comics, like, it's not working. And it's like far left politics, like it's misandry and anti-white stuff. Like, you can go through comics and you can set up a checklist, a matrix, and you go, yeah, I'm noticing who the protagonists are and the antagonists are. And it's like, just like from ideological perspective, it's not going to work because you're insulting your fan base, your customer base. And then from a storytelling perspective, it's not going to work because you've given the story away. Like when you see black hair versus blonde hair, you know who the antagonist is, you know who the protagonist is. It's like every single time. There's no surprises. If you see blue eyes, it's like, okay, well, he's the bad guy. That's how comics work. Anyway, it doesn't seem like it's working out for the mainstream. And then finally, don't insult the customers, or there'll be fewer customers. That shouldn't be an insurmountable concept to comprehend. That's pretty basic. If someone comes into your store, hey, fatty, it's like, okay, well, that may be true, but why are you calling attention to it? They're just going to turn around and walk out. People don't care about Kelly Sue Deconnick and whatever she writes. She does live streams with channels with like 400 subs and 7 people in the live stream. That's the level of excitement that she can create. The Twitter kids got mad at Aaron Lopresti for talking to EVS and some other people in CG. They said that he should go on Drink and Draw. And there's a few other left-wing channels on YouTube Why go on those channels? There's nobody there. If you go on those channels and you try to sell to a left-wing comics YouTube, you will go broke. You'll be like, there's guys on who there's left-wing Twitter guys who are selling like their own stuff. I forget the name. He went on one of those shows, and he's a big name in comics, and he did a crowdfunding. It's like, $24,000 for a big name in comics. That's insane. It should be like $250,000. But he's going on these live streams, and there's like 7 people in the audience, and Tristan and I were one of the 7 people in the audience. And she asks me, he goes, "Oh, are you going to buy this guy's comic?" I go, "No, he blocked me on Twitter." It's like, I wasn't being a dick about it. I was just being honest, and they didn't delete my comments. It was just an honest response. This guy blocked me on Twitter, so why would I support his comic? I'm interested to see how he responds in an interview, but you're blocking potential customers. It's just an honest answer. If you block somebody, they're not going to support you. You just lost that $37. Anyway, the left-wing audience on these left-wing comics YouTube, it just isn't there. For whatever reason, they just don't show up, or they don't buy anything. This is a commercial enterprise. The biggest left-wing channels either don't do interviews, or for whatever reason, the paying customer doesn't show up. There's this left-wing guy, I don't remember his name, it doesn't matter. He's got like 3,000 subs. He's got access to the biggest names in comics. He's got access to everybody. And after 5 years on YouTube, he has 3,000 subs. Something isn't adding up here. People don't want to see a Mark Waid interview because he is a fat twat. So is Kelly Sue, and so is all these other people. The problem with the mainstream is that Karens and fat twats run it. You get SJW cat ladies in comics, and sales went down. It's not a mystery why sales declined. These obese twat Karens are writing, and follow my logic here, they're writing stuff that people aren't buying. It really is just that simple. They think this is differential equations. It's not even algebra. Oh, how do I solve for X here? Well, here's your checklist. Do you have an obese SJW? If yes, then go to step 2. Fire her. Step 3, hire a man who is not an obese SJW. I was listening to this Twitter, Nerdheads Newsstand live stream yesterday on YouTube, and I saw a couple comments by normie left-wing guys. One of them was by this guy on YouTube, Forced Adversity. He did a video on Myers. I thought it was kind of silly, but I'm almost positive he's got some mental issues, like legitimate organic ones. But he made a few comments, and he's kind of representative of a lot of normie people on the left and on the right. He made these comments in the chat, and I knew that he was a normie by what he was saying. He's on the left, but some lefties know what's going on, and some definitely don't, on both sides. So he's a normie, and maybe even he's a well-meaning one, but he's definitely a normie. And he's definitely angry, but he's probably angry because there's a lot of people on the left who don't understand why the left isn't working. And it's not really something you can go and do on YouTube. It's definitely something you can't go and do on YouTube. There's a lot of people on the left who are frustrated that what they're doing isn't working. It's like, well, we'll make it up in volume if we're losing money on sales. He said that all these SGW films were about money, and that was the motive. There are a lot of milquetoast guys on the left who actually think that way. They just don't know what they don't know. To believe money is their motive is to believe that they repeatedly make SJW films that lose money because money is their primary motive. It's to believe that they're cognitively impaired. They mostly are not dumb people. They're evil people. There's a huge difference. I don't know the hierarchy, the corporate hierarchy where she's employed, but if you saw an interview like that and you're above her, you have any influence whatsoever, there's no way that you could watch that interview where you said, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my books. I'm going to write politics and comics, and think that this was good for the long-term health of any business vehicle that you were involved in. That's an insane interview. That the interviewer's just smiling and shaking his head and like nodding his head like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's great. It's like the thing is, if you're doing like the reason the left wing comics social media, they can't give them any feedback or else they won't come on for the interviews. Like all these people who go interview with this guy, the reason he gets them is because it's softball interviews. He doesn't give them a real word of feedback, or else they're just not going to come back. Which is why they don't come on CG channels. So honestly, Like, even if they got roasted and they could handle roasting, they would make sales. That's how easy it is. You have to be able to handle roasting if you're in sales. Either ignore it or let it slide off your back like a duck to water. An example I use is Cecil. It's a guy who got told to delete himself bundle of sticks, sorry about that, by everyone in the chat for like a month. And then he just let it fly. It just didn't bother him. And then after a month, everyone kind of realized, oh, this dude's kind of cool. And then we realized, oh, he's really cool. And we were the dicks. So we all just kind of forgot that part about roasting him beyond roasting, just savagely. Because the dude he was like, what is it, Merrimack? Those armored submersibles, those armored boats. It's like they were just, you were attacking him with artillery and it just wasn't doing anything. It was just denting the wood. It didn't do anything. And now he's got a YouTube channel and he's selling a book for, $250,000 called Cash Grab. That's the business model you want to take. Look at Cecil. Look at the cash grab model. Be as much like that as possible. Don't get distracted by little, like, people saying words on the internet. Like, listen, if they're saying they've got you through a scope and a 308 is coming your way, that's something else. Call the FBI. But somebody telling you to delete yourself bundle of sticks on a live stream, while they're super chatting the host thousands of dollars, like, you just hang in there, and that money's going to eventually come your way because you're going to do your own live streams, and eventually you're going to sell your own book. Like, he just took that, and he's got the last laugh because he's got Cash Grab, and he's got a customer base now. Like, he's got a business created because he was able to be roasted, and it just didn't bother him. You get these kind of people who, they lose their freaking minds if you say anything to them. It's an entirely different model, and it's like it just takes different people. You're not going to turn these people into a Cecil or someone like a Tim Lim or a Doug Ernst who, like, it's hard to turn a adult who's biologically mature into an emotionally mature adult without some kind of like a come to Jesus moment. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, check out Cash Grab. I don't know if it's still for sale. Check out the other Comics Gate stuff, and I will see you guys all next episode.